Before we jump in, if you enjoy honest stock updates, real investing transparency, and watching this journey unfold week by week, hit like, subscribe, and comment whether you're still bullish or done with this stock. Alright, welcome back to the series where I buy 10 shares of Alright, so you didn't quite hear from me for quite a while, and I'm really sorry for this. I've gotten super inconsistent with the series, and I really have to apologize. I did do my my part of the work where I did do the investing and stuff, but I just couldn't do the recording of the video because to me it's important to add some value, not just say, oh, I bought 10 shares, thank you for watching, next video. That's not really what I want to do in this type of update. So unfortunately I had to work a fuck ton during the past couple of weeks. That's why unfortunately now we have to do basically the PayPal weekly number 18 to 23, and then starting next week it's all going to go as usual. So let's head right into the comments that we got so far. Let's start with the most recent one, which is by Night Owl, saying, you don't say why you stopped showing your PayPal portfolio. That's very bullish. Also check the quarters from last year and you will see why this quarter looks bad, but it isn't. Also, management is front loading expenses. Go and listen to the earnings call. So I basically replied by saying I will show it in a few days. The PayPal portfolio showcase is always a very subjective thing, so I will speak more of my own mind and opinion when I show that update there. I myself am a very big PayPal fan. This video is meant to be more projectively speaking and targeting an audience that's whatever. So basically this was a comment on the PayPal stock analysis where I wanted to keep things a bit more objective because in this update I always try to give you my own side of things, my own opinion basically, which is also it's very unloaded from the actual or factual values that PayPal brings to the table, and it's also a lot of interpretation, since for me the PayPal investment case isn't just the company in itself but also the concept behind it, which basically means all the business that are affiliated with PayPal, but also the project that it could become in the future, meaning not just global expansion but also the PayPal ads business, which I think could become huge and could lead PayPal to become $1 trillion company at some point. But yeah, that doesn't really have to do anything with an objective stock review, because this is as subjective as it can be, because even for PayPal so far there isn't really too much flash to it, and they haven't been the most transparent or the most or a fast company when it comes to implementing new features. So that's just my 2 cents on this. I didn't listen to the earnings call myself because obviously I had to work at that time, but I did read through the transcript. I'll get into more details later in that regard, but yeah, I just skimmed through it. I might make a separate video on it where I go into detail, but for now that's it for this comment. Yeah, so Dark Havoc wrote, patiently waiting for Q1 results and can't wait to hear from Enrique Lores. Outstanding shares down to 920 million. It was 1.1 billion back in 2023. Couldn't agree more here. Bullish fair value 174.92 based on optimism around Venmo monetization and 15 billion buybacks. Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Sure, why not? I mean, the thing with PayPal is if they do half of the things that they have conceptualized right, then the fair value could be anywhere between $150 and $400, honestly. Like, it's a huge range for PayPal. If we just talking about the most pessimistic case, being PayPal being a very slow grower, not doing PayPal ads, not really monetizing Venmo, and just basically existing, then I think we are in a very fair value range already. So that's my take here. Got a couple more comments. Basically one by GMD8752 saying, I swear people don't know how to read a chart. You can see that it's as bearish as it gets. The stock is going down to $38, and when, yes, I said when it breaks that level, there will be a completely final washout crash to $26 before a complete reset and new bull cycle begins. Yeah, I don't really agree. I mean, sure, it's possible that $38 is a mark we see again. That's completely possible. I'm not denying that. Since PayPal is very susceptible to the whole macro economy, and if we see some sort of crash, then PayPal will be one of the stocks that is going down as well, because those fragile investors that have remained with PayPal, they will see very good opportunities in other stocks because they suddenly get cheaper, and then they'll sell some of their PayPal shares. That's all a possibility. But for me personally, do I mind buying PayPal at $50? No. Do I mind buying PayPal at $55? No. Do I mind buying PayPal at $45? No. Do I mind buying PayPal at $38? No. I think all of these prices are great prices for a company like PayPal. It's not expensive. It's a very fair range. Actually, quite the cheap range. I think anything below the 60s is almost a blind buy in regards to PayPal, at least at the current situation. So for me, it's not really a question of am I getting the best bang for my buck, or it's more of a question of am I getting a good bang for my buck? And in PayPal's case, yes, I am. Could this become even better? Yes, it's possible, but nobody knows that. That's completely up to interpretation. And before I wait for some fictional prices that may or may not come at some point, I just invest into PayPal at very great prices for as long as I can. So that's my personal take. Is PayPal your only stock holdings? In the public portfolio, yes. In my private portfolio, no. Steady accumulation wins the race every time. Wish I haven't bought in so early, so could have scooped more at current prices. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you still can. Sure you can. I mean, obviously, if it's already a huge position for you and you don't want to overextend on PayPal, then obviously you can't really do much there. But like, who's stopping you from buying more PayPal shares? I'm not. I'm personally enjoying every PayPal investor joining the troops, so you do you. Now let's take a look at the PayPal price. It's at 45.37 US dollars as of the market closing on Friday. And yeah, unfortunately, since I skipped a couple of weeks, we missed all the upstream that PayPal received in the prior weeks before they released the quarter results. And it's actually quite funny because yeah, you will find out later. So yeah, it's a bit depressing if you think about where we were like 2 weeks ago, but yeah, we'll go into more details later. Next, let's look at my PayPal purchases. This is what you've been waiting for. This is the most important thing right here. So what happened? I think this is where we did the last video. I just acquired 41 shares and I told you guys that I got my bonus and that I'm going to deploy it in the upcoming weeks. And that's what I did. So on the 31st of March, I received PayPal dividends. I'll go into more detail once we arrive at this slide. But basically, I did the drip. Basically, DRIP stands for Dividend Reinvestment Plan. Basically, the dividend I received got reinvested into PayPal. It's a bit lower here because I had to pay some taxes. That's why, yeah, it's such a low amount. But just for your information, for now, I plan on dripping all the dividends I get from PayPal back into the stock. And the way I'm going to do it is on my broker, they automatically rebuy the stock with the dividends received. And whenever that happens, I'll put it into here as well for you guys to see. And the price will not be noted down and it will not count as money that I have invested, since it's basically going to get reinvested and it's money that I received through the dividend. I'm not sure how you guys would prefer it, but in my case, I prefer to do it this way because usually a dividend is just left pocket, right pocket. So when the stock gives out a dividend, the stock price goes down a little bit. So I think this is the most fair way to do this, by basically just putting the amount here and cutting out price and investment, and instead I will place it on a separate separate slide for you guys to see. So then what happened after? I did my first purchase once again. I bought 50 more shares at $46.02. And then 1 week later, I bought another 50 shares at $51.10. And I still very vividly remember that day. On that day, I think PayPal went up like 2%. I bought, it went up by like 0.2 more percent, and then it crashed by like 3 or 4%. So yeah, I was a bit pissed about that, but couldn't really help it. As I said before, I'm happy to buy at 51. I'm happy to buy at 55. I'm happy to buy at 59 as well. Like everything below 60 for me is a pretty strong buy. Of course, I love buying in the 40s range more than I do in the 50s, but that's that. Who cares? Who cares? I think all of these are really great prices. Then afterwards, on the 24th of April, I bought 100 shares at $49.9 because I was so happy to get back in below the 50s. And at that point I was all thinking, okay, that's pretty much my position before the quarter results. But then I kind of FOMO'd at the 4th of May because I was thinking, oh shit, what if things are different this time? And yeah, people buy after the quarterly report. What if they do this unexpected surprise where they say, oh, we launched PayPal ads and it's going off and we make so much money, we already make millions and it's going to scale to billions in the next couple of quarters, and then the stock just skyrockets. So I was thinking, okay, damn, I have to buy a couple more shares, because I was thinking, damn, I'm still not satisfied with the position I built so far with PayPal, and there was still quite a bit of money left, which I had on my sidelines. So I decided to deploy, a bit more capital, buying 100 shares more, 50 at the price 50.55, and then 50 more at the price 50.48, just to be a bit more safe, because for me, the worst thing that could have happened is that PayPal just goes up 20% and then every week it goes up 5 more percent, because then it's really tough to keep buying into the stock when it just continues to go up, because that doesn't feel as good, because you get a worse price every single week. And I obviously like buying at a discount, and I believe in PayPal. So for me, there's no question that PayPal goes up in the long run. Subjectively speaking, of course. So don't worry, no financial advice. But yeah, that was my take. So I was thinking, okay, I have like enough money left to buy like 200 more shares, more or less. So before the quarterly results, I deployed enough capital to buy 100 shares, and then I waited for the quarterly results, and those indicated that the stock goes up 2 to 3%. And then the earnings call happened and the stock went down 10, 12%. Yeah, basically from positive 2% it went down to like -9 or -10 even. And that's when I decided, okay, I gotta buy some more. Gotta get 100 more shares. And I did. So as you can see, I bought 100 more shares on the very next day for $46.06. And now basically my bonus is all used up. And now I have to do smaller steps every other week or every week. We'll see. So that's the current situation. But yeah, as you can see, even though I didn't do many videos in the past weeks, I put my money where my mouth is and doubled down on PayPal, you could say. Okay, let's have a look at the PayPal price action. So I just marked this here that we didn't do the PayPal weekly there. So currently we are sitting at $45.37. So basically week over week we changed like by -10%. And since the start of this PayPal series, basically since the first video, since the price of 62.28, PayPal has gone down 27.15%, which is quite a lot, not gonna lie. But luckily, I think since the last episode we added this here, which is our actual gains and losses, which takes into account the prices we paid for every single week for the stocks we got, and in that we are just down 8%, 8.15% basically. And as you can see, if I had made videos in the last couple of weeks, we would have actually been positive for the very first time. And this here is very interesting as well, because as you can see now, my position changed drastically. Also, I'm very sorry for these last couple of numbers, but I really wanted to be transparent with this, and my broker got me 0.412924 stocks. So a really cursed number, but we can't do much about this. I want you guys to know exactly how many shares I have, and I think that's part of the transparency here. So yeah, we are now sitting at 650 shares. Got here earlier than I thought, but honestly I think that the price right now, it's a steal. Right now most stocks are blatantly overvalued. There are so many stocks that are trading at such a high PE, it's actually crazy. And PayPal just isn't like that. PayPal is being treated like a company that's going to go bankrupt basically. Like it's crazy at what kind of valuation we are able to pick up PayPal shares. Sure, some things for PayPal aren't going well. Margins have gone down a bit, take rate has gone down, whatever. But like, for me, it's a screaming buy. It's a screaming buy, and that's why I bought more. So let's go further. PayPal portfolio net worth. So the current worth, back then I think we were at like $11,000 more or less, or this year $10,000. Don't really know. Yeah, I think 10,000. I think that was it. You probably know it better than me. But yeah, what's important is the current net worth, and we are currently sitting at $29,509.23. On a weekly basis, we lost around $3,000, and now our total loss is $2,619. So the loss we're sitting at right now is the highest we've ever been. However, percentage wise, it's not looking that bad. It's -8%, so who cares? As long as it's not like 50% plus negative, I don't care. It doesn't matter at all. Next, let's take a look at the dividends and the expected dividends. So the expected dividends at our current rate, which is 650 shares, 0.412924, is $91.06, and I'm really happy about this, because finally we're not just getting fractional shares, but we're getting real shares with our investment, and that's just so satisfying to see. I can't wait for that to happen. I can't wait for the next dividend. Can't wait to show you guys. I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously I can't wait for PayPal to raise their dividend as well. which is probably not going to happen very soon, maybe next year, who knows. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. The projected yearly dividend has exceeded $300. We're at $364.23, and now we're at a monthly projected dividend of around $30.35, and that's amazing because we didn't just crash the $10 mark, we crashed the $20 and the $30 mark as well, and that just makes me really happy. So can't wait for our next dividends, and the first dividend ever we received as well. On the X date, I added this slide just so you know, because we received our first dividend. We owned 179 shares on the X date, which made us receive $25.06 in dividends. Unfortunately, I had to pay taxes on that, so we couldn't reinvest all of that. That's why, yeah, that's pretty much the trade-off. We didn't even get half a share, but can't really do much about it. That's what was going on. And yeah, I also added this field here, what happened to it, which is a DRIP. Basically, we did the dividend reinvestment plan. Yeah, and here I'll always write down what happened to it, because maybe at some point when, like, in 2 years PayPal is sitting at $200, who knows, can't tell. Maybe I don't want to keep reinvesting my dividends and want to cash out, then obviously that's what's going to be here. I will mention that I cashed it out, and here writing this down will obviously help us keep track of the dividends we received so far, since then we can tell after a couple years how much in terms of dividends we received. So that's it for my personal update. Now we are going to go into the news side of things, which is actually the more important type of this part of this video, which is in this case, yeah, the stock stayed sort of weak despite some product news. So yeah, the market is still valuing or pricing PayPal like a low growth turnaround, and it's pricing PayPal as a company that has yet to do the turnaround on the company level, which obviously is the case. But PayPal is not being valued at the fintech growth story, despite actually proving quite the nice news in the last couple of weeks. And I will get into more detail in my next couple of news, which is, for example, the Canva integration. Like right now, PayPal has announced that they'll do payment links inside Canva, and it's basically there to allow creators and small businesses to get paid directly from designs. So I think this is quite stock relevant, because it pushes PayPal a bit deeper into creator commerce and small business monetization. So that's always a pretty good thing. Like, it's not really that heavy for our stock price, but it's one of many great news with PayPal, and I think it's important to keep track of that. Next is the Pix integration in Brazil. I think it was on April 13th where PayPal added Pix for small businesses in Brazil. It's basically a way to connect merchants to Brazil's massive instant payment system. This supports PayPal's international growth story, and yeah, also is part of the local payment method strategy. Then let's get into the next news. Basically, analysts are bouncing but still cautious. So on April 13th, PayPal rose about 5% after BNP Paribas Exane raised its target to $43.5 while still keeping a neutral rating. But the key point was that even positive analyst news was cautious and not really aggressively bullish. And for me personally, that's a pretty good sign. So let's take a look at what else happened, and this is actually the big news. It's yeah, PayPal ads ID. So PayPal ads ID is basically a new monetization lever. This is what I was talking about for the past, I don't know how long I've been going at it for. I mean, I made PayPal videos in the past, but I think I mentioned it in 2024 already. So PayPal has been incredibly slow in that regard, but on April 27th, so just a couple days ago, PayPal launched PayPal Ads ID. And that is a deterministic advertising identity product based on verified PayPal and Venmo accounts. And in my opinion, this is one of the more strategic and important headlines because it suggests that PayPal wants to monetize its transactions beyond graphs and beyond payments. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically like a cookie. So with cookies, you know, Meta ads and stuff, they place cookies on your devices, and when you make a purchase, those cookies basically they retarget you. They try to give you they basically analyze you and make targeting easier. So for merchants, it's basically easier to define target groups, and those it's easier to make money for them, because obviously when you watch an ad that's targeted to you, like let's say I'm an investor that wants to make more money, and then I get an ad that's saying, oh, check out this stock app. It's going to help you make a better, more in-depth stock analysis. Check this out. Then obviously I'm more inclined to get it compared to a person that doesn't even have a stock account, right? So cookies basically are the money makers, and the PayPal ads idea is just some sort of cookie in a way, because nowadays there's many ways to block cookies. There's ways to deter your IP address. I mean, IP addresses in general are sort of unstable by design. They can rotate it, and they are shared by households, so it's much harder to keep track of your target audience in reality than it is on paper. And PayPal Ads tries to change that by using the payments that you did as some sort of cookies. So for example, PayPal analyzes that I bought a subscription for this stock app, and this gets analyzed, and then it could be used for competitors who maybe have a better app, and they can target me through this transactional cookie in a way. Like, that's the idea. That's how I understand it. It's basically a much better way to reach more of the audience they want to reach. This is the idea. Don't quote me on this. It's up to your interpretation. But this is how I would do it, and this is how I see it. There's a more in-depth news article on this from PayPal themselves. So I think that's very important. Next, Q earnings beat, but stock dropped, and cost cuts and the turnaround plan. So basically, PayPal beat earnings, revenue went up quite a bit. That's great. TPV volume also went up. Margin in itself dropped a little bit, so that's something to keep in mind. But in itself, it was a great quarter. It was a pretty good quarter. Active accounts stayed sort of consistent. We're a tiny bit lower than last quarter, which is normal, but like year over year, I think it grew by 1%, so that's decent as well. And I think PayPal is on a good way right now. I like the quarterly results. When I was seeing them, I was thinking, oh, that's decent, that's okay. I wasn't thinking, oh, this is the best quarter I've ever seen. Like, don't get me wrong, but considering the really conservative guidance we saw before, the results were pretty decent actually. I mean, it's what I expected, but yeah, it's nothing special actually. Nothing special. It's great. They did beat, so that's what I want to see. It's amazing, but it's not. It's neither super bad nor super great. It's, for me, it's like a 7.5 out of 10. So pretty good, very decent. Not amazing, not bad, not shit, and definitely better than okay. So I like what I saw. Might go more in depth in the future, but for now I think that should be it, since this video is already going whopping 30 minutes. As always, leave your opinion in the comments. I want to see what you think on PayPal situation right now. What do you think on the ads business? Do you think it will finally take off? Do you think the cost cuts which Enrique Lores outlined, I think it was 1.5 billion in savings over 2 to 3 years, is going to be significant? I do think that, but for me that's not what I'm looking at. For me, the growth part of the business is what's really interesting to me, because that's, for me, the potential for PayPal to become a $1 trillion company in the future. Yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to tune in for the next one. Thanks and goodbye.